All right, guys, here's your video answers, their practice test for test 10. Long test. I'm going to go through pretty slowly. I'm going to allow skipping, so you skip around as much as you need. Make sure you get the problems you need and get them done. So here we go. Number one. Number one's got the fraction exponents. Don't forget your rules. When you multiply on the top, you add your two fractions together. You can punch those in your calculator. I went ahead and found a common denominator right here. And then you add them, you get 7/6. On the bottom, you have 1/6. When you divide, you subtract the exponents. 7/6 minus 1/6 is 6/6, which is really just 1. So it's just 1x. Number two, same deal, just need to know your rules again. When you have exponents inside and outside, you multiply them. So I multiplied 1/3 times 3/2. I got 1/2. 2/3 times 3/2. I got 1. The y's were the same, so I just canceled those. The 2 stays. The x's, there's an x on top and x on bottom. Remember, you subtract their exponents. That x right there has a 1. That one has a 1/2. If you do 1 minus 1/2, it's 1/2, and there you go. Number three. Number three, first of all, write them with fraction exponents. Remember, bottom is the root, top is the power. So at 81 to the 1/3, 3 to the 2/3, bottom is the root, top is the power. Now you're stuck right there unless you make those numbers the same. Remember, always make the bigger number become the smaller number. So I took my calculator and just played with it. 3 squared, 3 cubed. 3 to the 4th power was 81. So I rewrote 81 with 3 to the 4th. Kept the 1/3, brought down that 3. Now, exponent inside, outside. Multiply them. That gave me 4/3 times the other 3. When you multiply, just add the exponents. Don't change the 3. Just add the exponents. 6 over 3 is 2. 3 squared is 9. And 4 is a tad bit different. Write them with fraction exponent. The bottom is the root, top is the power. Bottom is the root, top is the power. Bottom is the root, top is the power. This time, instead of finding all the same base, I simplified the fractions, reduced them. That was 1/2. That was 3/2. That's still 2/3. Bottom is the root. Square root of 16 is 4. Put 4. Bottom is the root. Square root of 4 is 2. But don't forget the 3. 2 to the 3rd power is 8. Bottom is a root. Cube root of 8 is 2. 2 to the 2nd power is 4. And then just multiply your numbers together. 132. 5, 6, and 7 are what we did yesterday. 5 is the hardest one of the bunch, so I'm going to go over it first. Square both sides. This side, just the radical goes away. Over here, don't forget the way we do that. Square, multiply double, square. Square, multiply double, square. That's how you square a binomial. Because there's an x squared, I'm going to move everything over. Move that x over there, it becomes 1x. Move the 3 over, it becomes minus 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So I'm looking for factors of 2 that would give me a positive 1, and there they are, positive 2 and negative 1. My two answers are negative 2 and 1, except, don't forget you must check your answers. And if you plug negative 2 in right there, it makes that side negative, and you can't have a negative square root, so that's gone. The 1 does work, so we're good there. Number 6, much easier. Number 6 is square both sides. The square root goes away. 7 squared is 49. Move the 5 over, it's 54. You can check it. It works great. Number 7, fraction exponent. Just do the reciprocal power. Reciprocal of 1/3 is 3, so raise both sides to the 3rd power. Here it cancels, just x minus 4. Punch this in if you need to. We've seen that all week. 3 cubed is 27. Move the 4 over, you got 31. Still more fraction exponents. You've got to work these out a little bit. Remember, bottom is a root. Do that first. The cube root of 27 is 3. Don't forget the 5. 3 to the 5th. Punch it in. 243. Negative 729. Bottom is the root. Take the cube root of the negative 729. You get negative 9. Don't forget the 2. If you square negative 9, it becomes positive 81. And number 10. Number 10, you can't really work out, so all left is a radical. Bottom is the root. Top is the exponent. And you can work out 3 squared, but it stays inside the radical. Number 11, more of the same. Bottom is root, top is the power. Make it 24/4, which is really 5 to the 6th. If you want to punch that in your calc, you can. Let's see what you get. Number 12, bottom is a root, top is the power. So I wrote 4/2. 4/2 is really 2. 4 squared is 16, so make sure you simplify that. And then 13, bottom is the root, top is the power again. 9 is the power, 3 is the root, 9/3, 9/3. 9/3 is really 3. You could probably go ahead and finish that one. 4 cubed, I think I ran off my paper. 4 cubed is 64, and x cubed is just x cubed. So you might want to go that one more step right there. Let's see here. I don't know why I just wrote on that. 14, 15, I went ahead and turned the page there, recopied the problem, which is right here. Remember, half of a square root for a graph makes half of a sideways parabola. The plus 2 at the end means I start up 2 instead of 0, 0. The negative means it goes down. So you go down 1 over 1 to right there is your second point. Draw your graph. And then don't forget your domain. X is greater than 0. The domain comes from this point and range. That point where we started was not 2, 0. It was 0, 2. So your domain is the X. Range is the Y from that point. The reason I put less than 2 right here is because it's going down. 15. Another one like that one. Be careful with your points here. Listen very carefully here. I'm going to go from 0, shift left 1, down 3. I went left 1, down 3 to right there. Now the 1/3 is inside, which means it's a horizontal stretch by the reciprocal. It's a horizontal stretch by 3. So instead of going over 1, up 1, you go over 3, up 1. Then you connect the dots, la, la, la. And then your domain and range come from your starting point. That starting point was -1, -3. Your domain is the X. It's greater than -1 because it's going to the right. It's greater than -3 because it's going up. 16, you need to factor the top and bottom of 16. Factor this one like this. Factor the bottom like that. It asks you for the vertical asymptote and the whole. The vertical asymptote, first let's go to the whole first. The whole is whatever factors cancel. X minus 1's cancel, so that means the whole is at X equals 1. The vertical asymptote is whatever makes the bottom 0. That is not a whole. So that is what makes the bottom 0, which is 3. So you put X equals 3. Make sure you put X equals on both of those answers so you can get them right. Just hit 16 on the last slide. 17, you got a fraction addition. You cannot add fractions unless you find the LCD. So I factored this like that. I factored this one like that. Now your LCD is all those factors. So I did X plus 4, X minus 1, X minus 2. I put all of them right here. And to figure out what goes on the top, just do this. Look at this one. What's it missing that is over here? Well, it's missing the X minus 2. So you do X minus 2 times the top. The top's just 1. So you do 1. You just put X minus 2 over here. Then look at this one. What's it missing that is over here? It's missing the X plus 4. So I'll do 1 times the X plus 4, put it on the top. Then all you do to finish is just add what you can. X and X is 2X, -2 and 4 is 2, and you're done. Number 18. Number 18, find all the zeros. You need to punch this one in your calculator. Go to Y equals, punch that in. See where it crosses, your X-axis. It crossed at 2. And the way you can tell that for sure is you do your synthetic, like we did right here, bring the 3 down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply. You should get a 0 if it works, which I did. Now, because the degree is 3, you should get 3 answers. So take what you get down here, write it as an equation. If there's 3 terms there, you need to do quadratics. That's what I did. I did X equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, 2 times 3 is 6, and worked out what was inside and got -8. Break down the -8, take out an I. 8's really 4 times 2, which gives me 212. And because all my numbers are even right there, I took out a 2. And don't forget your first answer was 2, so write that 2 over here with your other 2 answers. So you get 3 answers there. 19, binomial theorem, expand this. Remember, if the exponent is 3, you should get 4 terms. It's going to start with x cubed. It's going to stop with 3 cubed. And your second term is going to start with an x, but start with a 3 because that was your main exponent. Your x's go down, your 3 starts coming up. And because that exponent is 2 and 1, and this exponent is 2 and 1, I'm also going to have a 3 right here. And don't forget how to finish this. All you do is multiply. 3 times 3 right there gives me 9. Here, do 3 squared first. 3 squared is 9 times 3, which is 27. And lastly, 3 cubed is 27. Number 20 just says graph this. And they have a regular graph up here already for you. The only thing that changes is they put a 1/3 in the front. That means because it's in the front and not inside the parentheses, it's a vertical compressed by a third. So still start at 0, 0. There's no shift. But instead of going over 1, up 1, we're going to go over 1, up a third. Over 1, down a third. That's the vertical compress. That's what it does. This connector does la, la, la. I need to see your points, though, so make sure your points are on your graph tomorrow. 21, did this one in class this week, just like it is one of our review ones. Just take the 3x all the way through. Add your exponents, like we did right there. Take the 4 all the way through. That's what I got right there. Then look what you can add. Looks like there's nothing to add to the 6x cubed, but this one, the x squared you can do, and also the x's you can do, and that's why I got a little bit different answer down there on 21. 22, factor. This is the pattern was small, big, cube root, square, multiply, change the sign, square. Again, small, big, cube root, square, multiply, change the sign, square. So I just did this, cube root, square, multiply, change the sign, square. That's all you got to do, but you do have to know the pattern tomorrow. 23 says divide. I can do synthetic because that's a first degree binomial. You put what would make it 0, you put 3 in the box, put the opposite in the box, put your numbers over here. Don't forget to look, see if you need zeros. We did not need any zeros this time because all the exponents were there. And then just do this, bring the first number down, multiply, put it there, add, multiply, put it there, add, multiply, put it there, add. The last number is your remainder. Remember, don't just leave it like that. Don't forget to write your answer. A lot of you forget to write your answer sometimes. These are your coefficients of your answer, and because it started with degree 3, your answer is going to start with degree 2. So it's 2x squared, 10x, 29, 97 back on top of the x minus 3. 24, you got to remember how to do RF on your calculator. Just real quick, you go second matrix, edit, call it a 3x4, punch in all these numbers, no letters, just all the numbers. Remember, after you punch them all in, go to second quit. Then go back to matrix, go to math or calc. I forgot what it says on top. I think it says math on the top. Scroll all the way down to letter B where it says RF. Hit that one. Then you got to go back to matrix one more time and tell it which matrix you use. So do second matrix, hit number 1 or matrix A. Hit enter, and on your last column it should say 2, -1, 3. That's your answer, your last column. 25. Two things you got to worry about on 25. First of all, look at the degree. We had 2 x's there, 1 x there, 1 x there. That's 4 x's all together, which means it's even, which means, remember, even ends go up or ends go down. Odd, one goes up, one goes down. Because it's positive, both ends go up. Put your zeros on your graph. What makes that 0? 0. What makes that 0? 3. What makes that 0? -2. So I drew it from that end. It bounced there because that was x squared. Remember, any square, any even exponent just bounces. It just touches the x-axis, doesn't pass through. Then it passes through the 3 again. 26, I don't think we have much trouble with 26. We were really good at this when we did this. What I did, though, is I took the negative sign. Remember, negative changes all the signs in there. So I took them out of the parentheses and changed all the signs. Same thing here. I took it out of the parentheses and changed all the signs, just rewrote it. Combine what you could. I kind of underlined there what I combined. Remember, write your answer, biggest exponent down to smallest exponent. 27, find the center and radius of the circle. To do that, you have to complete the square 2 times. Put your x's in the same parentheses. Put your y's in the same parentheses. Leave some space. The 4 goes to the other side. Now, when you complete the square, you take half the middle. Half of 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Don't forget to put that on both sides. On the right-hand side, just add those numbers. You get 9. Over here, remember, whatever half was goes in here. Whatever half was goes in here. Your center is the opposite and the opposite, -2, -3. I think the radius is there too. Yeah, the radius is not 9. Remember the radius, that's r squared. It's the square root of 9, which is 3. Trying to move that a little bit. There we go. It's 3. And the last one is page 28. Solve by complete the square. Some of you are getting pretty good at this by now. Move the 11 over first. Gives me -11. Now, whatever's in the middle, same step as on the circle. Half the middle, which should be 4. All right. Square the 4, you get 16. Add 16 to both sides. Underline that because you don't forget to do both sides. On the right-hand side, just add what you got. That's 5. The left-hand side, whatever half was, which is 4, goes in your parentheses. Square root both sides. Get rid of the square. Gives you x plus 4. Don't forget your plus or minus signs. Square root of 5. You can't break down 5. Don't even try to. You can't do it. And then move the 4 over. -4 plus or minus square root of 5. Almost there. 29. 29. We can always say 2 bars, 2 answers. That's true on 29. It's got 2 bars. First thing you got to do is move the 3 over, though. Did that. Got 5 over when I did that. Then, because it's less than, it's and. Write one big inequality here. Put x minus 4 is less than 5 and greater than -5. And then to finish it, just add 4 to all 3 sides. You get 9. And here it cancels. Just get x. And over here you get -1. And that's it. And should come together like that. Number 30. Same deal. 2 bars, 2 answers. You should get 2 answers. Now, this one's an or because it's greater than. Don't forget to divide by 3 first. Get rid of that. That's 8. When you get to this step, write it twice. X minus 6 is greater than 8 or less than negative 8. Move the 6 over, 14. Move the 6 over, negative 2. Ors always go opposite directions like that on your number line. And 31, solve this one. Just got to get the x by itself. Divide both sides by 5. I didn't show that, but that's what I did. Got an 8 right here. Now I got to get rid of the square. So I take the square root of both sides. When you take the square root of 8, remember 8 is this. 8 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. The square root of 4 is 2. You don't know the square root of 2, so it just stays in there. 32 says find the inverse. Y'all are great at this. This is something everybody should get. Switch the x and the y's. Did that. Then get the y by itself. So move the 7 over, make it minus 7, divide by 3, which I did right there. The whole side by 3. And don't forget your little notation. Y'all are great at that. I'm not going to spend too much time there. 33, graph and its absolute value, which means it's a V shape. Do your shifting first. I got a +3 inside. I don't know what just happened. Do a +3 inside, so I go left 3. Got a -1 outside, exactly like you think. Go down. Now, the slope is out there, 1/3. Usually I would go up 1 over 1, but because it's 1/3, I'm going to go up 1 over 3. Up 1 over 3. Connect the dots, la la la. Got your V. Absolute value is a V. And the last page here, 34. You're good at this too. Write it as an inequality. 2 is less than x, less than or equal to 95. The reason that's an equal to there and not there is because that was a bracket. 95 has a bracket, the other one doesn't. Set notation just means you got to do the braces, you got to put all x such that, and then write the exact same thing again. That should be pretty good tomorrow on your test. Okay, 35. Where's it increasing? It's increasing forever up to there, forever up to there. Now, remember, use x's. So it's negative infinity. The x right there is -2. It's also increasing from here up to there, from here to forever, here to forever. The x right there is 1 to forever. Where's it decreasing? It's going down from here to here, from here to here. Remember, use the x's. The x is right there is -2. The x right there is 1. So it's decreasing from -2 to 1. Last question, what's the domain and range? Because it has arrows, it's going left and right forever, so negative infinity, infinity. Because it has arrows, it's going up and down forever, negative infinity, positive infinity. Hope that helps. You'll be able to skip around. Please watch this a bunch of times if you need to. Be great to keep, you're doing pretty good right now. Be great to keep that going. I'll see you tomorrow.